The PGM is back, baby! Again, I guess. In late spring 2023, Ibanez Guitars announced two new additions to the Paul Gilbert Signature Series line of guitars, the PGM50 and the PGM1000T, which brings the total number of Paul Gilbert Signature guitars up to, checks notes, 8,250. Okay, so maybe that's a little bit of an exaggeration, but seriously, it's like 30 now. And the new PGM1000T is one of the limited edition models. But is it as limited as this one? I'm Thom Tran, and this is the story behind the strings. Thanks to everyone who's watched the show and subscribed to the page. If you want more stories behind the strings, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified when I drop a new episode. What I have here is the Ibanez Paul Gilbert PGM10th Signature Series guitar. It was a limited edition run released in 2002 to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the Paul Gilbert Signature Series line of guitars, which is a whole nother situation we will talk about in a minute. The PGM10th is based on the original Paul Gilbert PGM100 guitar, which itself is based on the Ibanez RG770 series. But here are the specs on this model and why it's special and limited. It's got a mahogany body with a hard maple top with a natural finish. The neck is a wizard-style one-piece maple neck with an all-access neck joint and 25 jumbo frets. That's right, I said 25. Now for you non-gear nerds wondering why that's important, most guitars only have 21 or 22 frets, and a lot of 80s and 90s shred rocker guitars have 24. So 25 is a little unusual. It's got a 25.5-inch scale, and the fingerboard is a bound rosewood with a pearl abalone block inlay. The bridge is a Goto GTC 101 with gold hardware. It's set up with an HSH pickup configuration, including DiMarzio tone zone humbuckers in the neck and bridge positions, and a DiMarzio single coil gem in the middle position. It's got a 5-way pickup selector switch and no tone knobs. And the one master volume knob is specially placed to go with the distinctive painted-on F-holes that make this a Paul Gilbert signature guitar. The shredder weighs in at about 7 pounds 8 ounces, and the guitar was manufactured in Japan at Ibanez's Fujigen factory. It was only available in 2002 and sold in Europe, Japan, and the United States. If you're looking to buy one, they are pretty rare right now. As of this recording, there were none available on Reverb. There are a few on eBay, all coming from Japan, and all in the range of about $3,000 to $5,000, give or take, plus shipping, taxes, and import fees. So all in, you're looking at anywhere from $3,500 to $6,500. Is it worth it? Well, this is one of the reasons I wanted to do an episode about this guitar as opposed to any of my other PGMs. I've seen it listed on multiple websites that only 50 were made to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Paul Gilbert signature line. I actually reached out to the Ibanez distributor in the United States to find out how many were made and what the original cost was. But because the guitars are over 20 years old, they didn't have that information. If you know how much these originally cost in 2002 or know where I can get that information, please leave me a message in the comments below. But from speaking to a reputable Ibanez dealer, from what I gathered, 50 were raffled off in Japan. That's where that number comes from. And you had to enter a special drawing for that. Speaking to this retailer, one of his sources said it's estimated that the total worldwide production number is between 100 and 150 of these instruments. So yeah, pretty rare. As for how much they originally cost, I saw them sold on the third-party market for between $2,000 and $3,500 as of 2006, just a few years after they were originally released. And like I said earlier, they're currently listed on the third-party market for anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000. Now for that thing I mentioned earlier about these being released to commemorate the 10th anniversary of the first Paul Gilbert signature guitar. This guitar, the PGM10th, was released in 2002. That is undisputed. However, the first Paul Gilbert signature guitar, the PGM100, was released in 1989. Now I'm not great at math. I did actually fail it in high school. Weird, I know. But 2002 minus 10 is 1992, not 1989. So, somewhere, someone else at Ibanez also failed math. Okay, so you're probably thinking to yourself, all right, Thom is a professional stand-up comedian, that failing math thing is a joke. Here is an actual letter from my high school telling my parents that I was failing math.
Hey, tell them about the time you almost failed music in college.
I will cut you. Anyway, I grew up in Buffalo, New York, and when Mr. Big dropped their huge hit To Be With You in 1991, that was my first taste of being like just this far removed from someone famous, because Paul Gilbert was a guitarist for Mr. Big, and he played with bassist Billy Sheehan, who was from Buffalo. And I think one of my older brother's friends was like, yeah, we know him. And that made sense because they're all about the same age. Many years later, after I'd moved to LA, I ran into Billy at a rock benefit, and we kind of connected over some Buffalo stuff. So in or around 2013, I started playing in a band again, and because it was more of an 80s metal shreddy type outfit, I was using primarily Ibanez Super Strats, specifically the Paul Gilbert PGM300 and 301 guitars. And the reason for that will be the subject of another episode, but as I mentioned in my first episode, with age, I've grown less fond of Floyd Rose-style tremolos.
So I love them, I just hate tuning them and setting them up and even thinking about tuning them or setting them up.
And I had a couple of other Ibanez RG series guitars, but I love me some PGMs. And yes, there are a few other PGM models without a Floyd Rose style trem. And if you want a video on those, let me know in the comments below. But at this point, I think I was just starting to hit my collecting phase, and I already had like a half dozen guitars. But I do that thing where if I find a guitar I love, I want it in different colors and different tunings, and I rationalize it like this, probably like you have. I say, hey, I could save some time tuning at rehearsal or at gigs if I just had the same guitar tuned to E flat or open G or a whole step up or whatever. And the next thing I know, I've got 11 PGM guitars ranging from a PGM100 to a PGA1000. Yes, that guitar is going to get a video of its own in the future. So it's 2014, stand-up comedy was going well, and I got a sweet gig at a radio station, and I didn't, and still don't, have kids. So as the Georgia Satellites would say, I had a little change in my pocket going a jingle-lingle-lingle, and as most things went in those days, I'd found this little smoke show online in Australia. This might have been one of those buy it now situations. I think I saw the price and was like, oh, this could be much worse. So this baby shreds just like you'd expect an Ibanez RG series to shred. Super fast, super flat, wizard-style neck, and the DiMarzio tone zone pickups are high output and super hot when you want them to be, but not having a tone knob makes it a little difficult to control. Those are all things that 80s shredders love. So earlier in the video I mentioned that this was a limited edition guitar, and as best I can tell there were anywhere from 100 to 150 made worldwide, with at least 50 of those raffled off to celebrate the PGM's 10th anniversary. And I wondered if the new PGM1000T is as rare as this one. Well, as of this recording, the new Ibanez PGM1000T is currently listed on some retail websites for between $6,500 and $7,000. And upon doing research for this episode, I've seen at least one website say that only 15 of those 1000Ts will be distributed to the US. So yeah, that's pretty rare. Which I guess makes sense if these guitars were about $2,500 when they came out, and the new PGM1000T is retailing at almost $7 grand. All right, there's episode 3 of the story behind the strings. That's my Ibanez Paul Gilbert PGM10th Signature Series guitar. Hope you liked it. Which is your favorite Ibanez PGM? The 100, the 200, the 300, 301, 400, 400? We're gonna really make me list them all, are you? Maybe your favorite is the Fireman series. Just let me know in the comments below. Thanks to Rich at IbanezRules.com for some of the info for this episode. I'll be doing a video about one of my other PGM guitars, probably soon, but if you have a favorite you want me to go behind the strings of, let me know in the comments below. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and share buttons. It really does help out the channel. Ring the bell to be notified when a new video drops, or tell a friend or fellow shredder about it. Please follow me on all the places, including Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can help support the channel at Patreon, where you can suggest a guitar for me to go behind the strings of, even if it's not in my collection. Links are all below. And of course, my stand-up comedy dates are all on my website, ThomTran.com. Thanks again, and let the strings tell your story.
Hey, remember that time you took a music class in college because there was a hot girl you liked and you thought it was going to be an easy A and you almost failed because you drank too much?
I will cut you!